Do you know that I helped the voice of God with his car the other day?
You did? You put a battery in it?
I did. Yeah. I bet this guy that I would get it fixed that day. He didn't think I could, and we did.
Yeah, I feel like I
would have bet on you.
You do. Isn't that right, voice of God?
Yes, it was very helpful. The voice of God does not know how to change a battery, apparently.
You know, these younger gods, they're a little, how would
Does
you
that
say, a
make him
little
like a junior
soft?
god?
Little soft?
It was kind of weird, though, because there was always a voice over here, over there. You're doing that wrong.
Voice of God, have you ever shot a gun?
The voice of God has shot a gun.
Oh, that's surprising.
It was fun.
At anything?
Not at anything living, if that's what you're asking, the voice of God.
Yeah, like hunting.
No! I've never been hunting. Not a lot of wild game in the deserts of California. Okay! This week's first question. Hello! I love the podcast and all the info you give. I work at a small 4-bay independent shop. My question is that the shop owner is concerned the gross parts is more than gross labor. He said it should be 60-40 labor over parts. I did inform him that some of the parts costs are going up and some of the dealer parts we get are more expensive than the labor to put them in. Is this okay? Or are we doing something wrong? Thank you!
I mean, just because it mentions parts, you should start.
Well, I'm a trendsetter here, right? And that's why I bought a shop 4 years ago. With the shifts that are coming, my view on this is different than, you guys probably haven't heard a shop owner talk about this. So when it comes to parts revenue, parts profit, it's not in my equation. And realistically,
we all know you hate parts. That's not the question.
I do, absolutely.
You're like, you should have zero gross on parts? Is that what you're going to say?
No, but if I
give the part away?
You could.
Like it's like the printer model where you give the printer away and then you sell them the ink?
But see, that's where my focus is. My focus is driving 100% of my profits through my labor sales. So if I hit my labor targets, it doesn't matter what happens with parts because I've made the revenue and the profits we need with our talent pool and the labor. So yes, I do, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. I do focus on parts and I watch our numbers and we have targets and all that. However, there will be a day soon where the customer will print their own part, the car will print the part, or they'll have it delivered for you. And you know, I feel that we need to shift more of our profit.
So you think that parts departments will be replaced with 3D printers?
Or other delivery companies that are on time.
Amazon?
Possibly.
Would you prefer to deal with Amazon than a parts department?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I would. So think about this. In the future, your shop management program is going to be so smart. Like if Amazon came in and ran a dealership or an independent repair shop, when a customer booked an appointment and we put the estimate in, it would be smart and go get all of the parts that are needed for that job. And on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., when that car arrived, the parts would arrive at the same time. Also, Amazon would be smart enough to talk to the car to say, hey, what other concerns, car, do you have? And be like, well, I've got a weak O2 sensor, so I may need one of those. So in that on-time, on-demand delivery, there'd be the right oxygen sensor at the right time delivered to your technician instantaneously, so you don't need a big warehouse holding your parts because it would just show up on time. That's the future of automotive repair.
The interesting thing about this to me, and I've done a bunch of strategy sessions with independent shops, and this might be the wrong question, honestly, but what's interesting to me is how, coming from the dealer side, right? That's my basis of knowledge that I came up on the dealer side, is selling wholesale parts to shops from the dealer side. Right. You don't understand that the independent shops market up more than what you would sell it for. Sometimes they hold more gross than you would on the dealer side, even though you bought it from them. Mm-hmm. And there is not a big connection between what the independents sell the part for and the customer's perception if you focus on the customer experience. Correct. And so the healthiest shops are the ones that are holding gross. They're holding 40% gross on the parts even after they buy it from the dealer, which is hilarious, right? And so it's more about the customer experience than it is the part price and what I see.
Correct.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
But
Yeah,
you just said to give the part away.
I did not. No, I did not say to give the part away. Did I say that?
You said you could give the part away.
I said you could, but I didn't say to give the part away.
So
There's a
the
difference.
60-40 is on sales or on gross?
They're saying gross. So if you have $100 in revenue, $60 of it comes from labor, $40 of it comes from parts.
Well, that's sales, though.
Yeah, but
So
that's
if you have $100 in gross, $60 comes from labor, $40 comes from
Correct.
from parts.
yes.
I don't think that's too far off.
But Chris, let me
That's
get
a good starting point.
in the independent world. The background has always been it's a 1-to-1 ratio, parts to labor. So half of your revenue comes from labor, half of your revenue comes from
But
parts.
if I've
That's
done 30 strategy sessions with independent shops, maybe 3 of them know what their effective labor rate is.
I have failed as a trainer in this industry. I'm sorry.
not joking.
No, you're right. Yeah.
They leave it blank on the questionnaire, and then when I ask them what it is, they don't know.
And when you
so
calculate
they'll
it,
say-
it's scary to see how low it is.
They'll tell, also they don't understand because their techs aren't flat rate that their cost of labor is $60,
Right.
and they think it's 30.
And they're only collecting 75. No wonder they're going out of business.
But most of the time they'll say, oh, it's my effective labor, it's 120. And I'm like, no, that's your posted labor rate. And they're like, it's like debating proficiency and efficiency.
Correct.
It's interesting. So I don't think, in answer to the question, Voice of God, I don't think he's too far off there. It's a good starting point. Remember, though, as an advisor, the price is not, the objection to the price is the quality of service that you're giving and the customer's trust and perception of what you're doing. Not where you set the price. Because I see independent shops all the time that are making more money on their parts than their labor after they figure out what their effective is.
Yep, and
It's
I would
more
say,
common than not.
yeah, I would say another thing too to use that ratio for is it's going to help you identify what the health is of your repair mix. Because typically what happens is your preventative maintenance is going to have a higher labor margin than a parts margin. So that could be an indicator of that too. I think it's great to have a benchmark, and I don't even know if it matters exactly what it is, and it could differ from shop. But,
It's a good starting
But I
point.
think it's a good place to look.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this clip of Service Drive Revolution. Now you can catch the full episode on YouTube, iTunes, or Spotify, or wherever you consume your podcasts. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.